This is Rob Tebbut for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by trainer Mark Tibbs. We're here in Essex. Nice to see you, Mark. How you keeping?
You too, Rob. Not too bad, mate. Trying to catch up on some rest after 3 months abroad, away from the family and that. Probably 6 months, including the Martin Murray camp. But yeah, no, I'm glad I'm home.
Yeah, it's been an eventful last few months. So talk to me about the initial phase. You were over in Fuerteventura preparing Billy Joe Saunders, of course, for Canelo Alvarez. Go back to the start of camp. Talk to me about the early stages of camp out there in Fuerteventura.
Well, the early stages was we've done the Martin Murray camp, and I think we come back, had a couple of weeks off, New Year, and then flew straight back to Fuerteventura, and obviously got home a week ago from America. So we've done a very good spell over in Fuerteventura in Adam Bailey's gym, MTK's gym out there. It was very good, and we had about 5 weeks in the US. 4 weeks in Vegas, and the last week in Dallas. Yeah.
How was camp? Obviously, we're going to come on to talk about the fight and kind of the ensuing fallout from there. Yeah. But how was the camp? Obviously, coming from Martin Murray, which was in December, straight into a camp, I'd imagine was quite good. We've seen Billy Joe Saunders in the past, sometimes balloon up in weight in between fights. He didn't have that this time. So good camp in Fuerteventura? It
was very good camp, because the simple fact was it wasn't like a weight loss camp. It was strictly a performance camp, and the Martin Murray camp put us in good stead. So Billy Joe did look after himself in the 2 weeks when we was back here, or whatever it was, Christmas and New Year. He looked after himself, and it paid dividends really, because the whole team done what they had to do, and he was in good shape. He was in fantastic shape, and shame about the result. I felt that he was in the fight, and he was building some momentum, as I said before. But he got damaged. He got damaged with that right uppercut, and changed the fight. Yeah, broke his skull.
And before we come on to the end of the fight, I just want to pick your brain as kind of the game plan going in. Obviously, you can't really talk about that sort of stuff before the fight. Now the fight's over. Just wondered kind of the game plan going in. Obviously, boxing Canelo Alvarez, widely regarded as the pound-for-pound number one. Yeah. What sort of things were you working on in camp? What sort of things worked like you thought on fight night, and what sort of things potentially didn't work?
Well, tactically, it's very, very simple. I mean, you've got you're flat-footed, not flat-footed, but he likes to throw volume power shots in Canelo, and Billy Joe Saunders, his best game was his movement, and for me was his long punches. Keep it long off the line, long and slick and awkward, and that's what our game plan was. And he did have some success at fighting short, but I wasn't a lover of that, because it's very taxing with the pound-for-pound great in front of you, and it wasn't going to last long if you fought that way. And it proved that Canelo did catch up with him by fighting that way, fighting short in volume punches. I wanted him to be on his toes, in and out, awkward. Feinting, popping that jab in his face, doubling it up, bang.
Don't you hate it when you can't find the place you're looking for? What 3 words makes it easy to find exact locations? It has divided the whole world up into 3-meter squares. That's about the size of a parking spot. Each square has been given a what 3 words address made of 3 words. So you can find every business, every entrance, or anywhere at all, really. Next time you need to find somewhere, use what 3 words? Tribe, panels, clasping. And you'll know exactly where to go.
Crack, move off the line. And he would have found a rhythm. He would have found a rhythm. But found a rhythm to, you know, I don't want to say survive, but, you know, get the rounds under his belt. That's what my job was, to get the 12 rounds in the bank, whether we won or lost, in a safest possible fashion. And unfortunately, he bent to, Billy Joe bent to his left-hand side once, twice. He was told not to, but, you know, when you got Canelo in front of you, walking you down, you know, it's the most naturalist thing to do, you know, to bend down there, to hopefully they go over your head. But he wound one up, sunk it in, yeah.
I want to talk about the kind of the start of fight week. I think it was one of the more adventurous, more incident-filled starts of a fight week that I can remember recently. We obviously had the hoo-ha about the size of the ring, which was very well publicised at the start of the week. In hindsight, or even at the time, do you think that potentially, did that distract anybody? Billy Joe seemed pretty cool and calm throughout the week, but I wonder what you think in hindsight.
Billy Joe was very calm throughout the week. I'm sure he had his moments on his own, you know, like we all do. We think about things, and, you know, we're only human beings. But, you know, the ring size, we practiced in a big ring. And the ring that we practiced in at my ring at my gym in Raynham, in Origin, Essex, is a very big ring. I think it's a 22 foot, could be 24. So we did plan on the big ring 4 months prior. We made that agreement, and I said that that was put forward to our camp manager. But I'm not sure what went on there. You know, I'm not sure what went on, but we got there in the end. So yeah. So we got what we wanted in the end, and we only wanted to use the outer centre of that ring. You know what I mean? We didn't want to be on the ropes and be in a punch bag. So yeah. So we got what we wanted ring size wise. Yeah. So it's all part and parcel of winning little things. That's what happens in a big fight like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of made this point to people on social media before. You know, big fights, there's always a glove issue or a ring size issue or a who walks issue, as we saw with Chisora, I think, the week before that. So there's always some fun and games in those big fights. But from your perspective, none of that had any impact on kind of Billy Joe's mentality or Billy Joe's performance on the night. He was very much focused and on task. Yeah,
no, I'll be honest with you. I inspected the ring over a number of days, probably 3 days. And, you know, I felt the ring, it was lovely. I knew Billy Joe would have loved it. He didn't have to test it. He trusted me. And I says, and obviously we had Amir with us. I think he was with me. I had Cam, the strength guy, with us. And we checked the ring out. We wanted to make everyone feel comfortable. That the dimensions was okay. Matchroom were very good in giving us what we wanted, and they delivered. And so the ring was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. The arena was perfect. Oh, it's beautiful. It really was. And unfortunately, you know, it wasn't our night. We give it our best shot. We had the bestest camp ever. He was in great shape, and it just, you know, we didn't get beat to, you know, we got beat by the pound for pound great in Canelo Alvarez. Yeah.
Talk to us about Canelo. Obviously, we all know how good he was. You would have been closer to him than anybody else. You've obviously prepared a fighter to box against him. Obviously, a lot different on the night than watching videos and watching tape. What did you take away from the fight in those early rounds in particular? What did you notice immediately about Canelo?
Well, you know, Canelo, listen, I've always looked and admired Canelo, you know, the way he is consistently on his game, if you know what I'm saying. Consistently on his game. He's a real, true professional. I met him in Saudi very briefly, and when I was coming out the ring with Dillian White at the time, and I was walking down the stairs, and he walked right into me, and I put my hand out, he shook my hand, and little fella, you know, nice, you know what I'm saying. he was nice. He was charming. He was a nice guy. But out in Dallas, he was built. You know, he was very well built. You know, if you know what I'm saying. He was solid and thick set, stocky, and you know, he's there to be beat. I believe. You know, at the moment, I don't see who's going to do it, but you know, I just thought that. If Billy Joe never bent to his right all that time and kept upright and awkward, a bit like a fencer, you know, a fencer with a sword, that's what I wanted him to do. And it's just frustrating, but, you know, yeah, it's frustrating, but he got beat by the better man, for sure.
I would obviously seen, and we'd heard a lot going into the fight about Canelo's issues with Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, that kind of tricky southpaw style. Everybody had seen him box Floyd Mayweather those years ago. Yeah. How much of that impacted your preparation for this fight? Did you take much from those fights in the build-up in preparation for Billy Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we knew what style troubled Canelo. We knew what style troubled him, and Billy Joe Saunders happened to be that style. Billy Joe Saunders happened to be that style, and it was a case of holding the game plan together in a real stubborn, winning fashion. Unfortunately, Billy Joe got caught by a great uppercut, flush on the cheekbone, and changed the game instantaneously. I saw his eye go black in the round it happened, and I briefed my team either side of me, and I had to turn around and get a towel just in case I needed it off of Sheldon. And then Billy Joe walked back to the corner. Obviously, I was up there at the end of the round. He skated around the last half of that round to basically to survive the round. And he walked back to me, and we had a bit of dialogue, a small bit of dialogue, and then he sat down in the corner, and Ben spoke to him, which I was a little frustrated because I needed that minute. But Ben's young, and I wasn't affected by that. I already made my mind up by me and Billy's dialogue when he walked to me. But then when he turned around and sat down, young Ben got control of his ear roll. And I was a little bit crossed by that, but I hadn't got time to get emotional with anyone. And then I looked at his eye, I wiped it. We did have a bit of dialogue. Then I turned around and waved it off. And, you know, you can't send a man out there with a damaged eye socket like it was. I mean, I'm no doctor, but it was clearly dented in. And, you know, body language and whatnot, you know, it's my job to pick up on things like that. So, yeah, so we had to wave the fight off. The fight got waved off, and Billy sat there for quite a while. And then the doctor, I asked the doctor if he's finished with Billy. And then I asked Billy, do you feel sick? Do you feel sick? He says, no. And then I says, listen, do yourself a favour. Go and shake hands with him like a man. Otherwise you're going to regret it. And he did just that. And we were sick as pigs. Sick as pigs. And then that was it. That was it, basically. And yeah, we was gutted. We was gutted because we was in the fight. We was in the fight, but that's what happened. Got hit by the right uppercut and turned it around. And I think Billy Joe's had a great career. I'm not saying it's over. He's had a great career. And he got beat by the pound for pound great in Canelo Alvarez on the 8th of May in Dallas. Shame.
Just going back there, I know that you've mentioned this. Excuse me. I know that you mentioned this previously about that dialogue. People are going to want to know what was said between yourself and Billy Joe Saunders in between that round at the end of the 8th round. What was said? You mentioned the dialogue between yourself and him. What can you tell me about that?
Well, that's probably for Billy Joe to say, because all along I've been very private in my conversations, with that. It's up to Billy Joe to reveal that. But I feel I've done my job. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. He couldn't carry on. He was injured. But you have to, because of it wasn't my familiar corner team, and I'll be honest with you, I had a good team. It was good that night. I say good, it wasn't good because we didn't win. But you know what I'm saying? It was a good team. It was a good team. But I wasn't familiar with them, and there's things I need to address to the fighter so his team could hear as well. Because they was Billy's boys, not mine. And that was gutted for Billy. I've known Billy since he was 17 years old, and my father trained Billy since he was 17, right through till Southern Area champion, European champion, all the way through until he fought Andrew Lee. And so I'm very, very familiar with Billy. I've got a good connection with him. We understand it. We understand when we're talking boxing. We understand it. I was a bit sick when he sat down during that round. He was injured, and the connection was broke because of young Ben talking his ear out. Listen, he's like a brother to Billy. So it never bothered me, but it was inappropriate. But listen, the decision was made before then, and that's the way it is.
Before we move on and talk about Ben Davison, you say the decision was made there. You said you waved off the fight. Just to clarify that, you stopped the fight.
Yeah, I stopped the fight. I mean, like I says, Billy's body language and our communication already made my mind up. Then he sits down. Ben spoke to him. I don't know what he said to him, but he spoke to him. It was very, very close and tight. So it was, which I thought, listen, we've got this connection now. We need to continue with this. I've got 1 minute. So I felt a bit cross, but it was already done by then. And that's it's as plain and simple as it can be. He was in the fight. He got cracked. He got injured. I pulled it. I waved it off. Simple as that.
Now, we mentioned Ben Davison. Obviously, we've seen in recent days kind of Ben come out and address his version of events. We've seen Billy Joe make a status, I believe, on his personal Facebook about his version of events. Go back to the camp. What involvement did Ben Davison have in the camp for the preparation, and when was that involvement?
Do you know what, Rob? Ben, we turned up at a UFC gym one day. Could have been just over a week before the fight, and Billy Joe says, "Mark, got your sticks? You know the sticks." I said, "I ain't, Bill. I didn't bring them with me. I didn't think we was punching today." He went, "Yeah, I want to do a bit," and then Billy, I'm sure he said, I'm pretty sure, "Ben, you got any sticks?" And we walked out to the car. Me and Ben walked out to the car to get his sticks. So I said, "Can I have a pair?" Because he had a couple of pairs of them, 2 pairs of them. Or, yeah, they were 2 sticks, 2 long sticks, cut one in half. So I said, "Do me a favour, warm him up." And he did. He warmed him up. And he warmed Billy up, and they go back a long way. They're friends. And I remember years ago when I was my dad's assistant in the gym, and I trained Ben here and there a little bit in the TKO gym. But I don't really know Ben. And that's the first time he ever was in my corner that day. But yeah, no, he done a couple of, he warmed him up on the sticks, and, you know, I encourage it. Because, you know, at that time, in a big fight like that, you know, it's nice to build confidence and get your own people around you. And I'm all for that. If Billy Joe told me that ceiling was black, I'd say, yes, it is black, Billy Joe, but we're going to make it white. That's what you do with fighters at them times. At them times, in a big fight like that. But there was once, I think that might have happened twice at the UFC gym, I believe. And I think once he started grappling him, Billy Joe, and I was like, well, hold up there, what's going on? I said, listen, we don't want to be in that position. We've got beautiful legs, we can dance, we can slide, we can glide. We don't want to be there. And I understand it's inevitable we could be there, but I just want to make it clear we don't want to be locking arms with this man. It's going to be taxing on Billy Joe if we are. And I have to say them things because it's my job. I'm the head trainer and I have to oversee them things. But yeah, so things like that. So yeah, but no, it was we had a very, very good camp and very good. Can't complain. And it was nice that Billy Joe's dad turned up. I hadn't seen him in years. He turned up at the airport at Heathrow Airport, and it was nice to see him in his straw hat and whatnot. And I didn't think I was going there because I'd never done a bloody COVID test, and they all thought I'd done it on purpose. I didn't want to go, and I got one done for 60 quid. They all paid about 1.5. Yeah, but so we got out there in the end. But listen, it was a great spectacle, and it was a privilege to be involved in such a big event, and yeah, it was wonderful. It was a good apart from us not winning.
Just to go back there, obviously you mentioned the fact that Billy Joe Saunders and Ben Davison, they do go back a long way. You used the term that they're like brothers. Going into the fight, you mentioned there, you wanted to build the confidence of Billy Joe, but you had no reservations about Billy Joe working with Ben Davison in that little build-up, the period of time to the fight. You were quite happy for that to take place? Well,
to be fair, this is what happened. Billy Joe never once says to me, he's going to work the corner. I knew he was in town, Ben, because of Josh Taylor. And to be fair, it was a relief to see them all. It really was a relief to see them all. It was nice to see some faces, some of our own. And I had a lovely chat with Josh Taylor, and I've never sat down with him before. I met him at the Boxing Awards years and years ago, and he was really lovely, him and his wife. So we sat down, and we had a great conversation. It was really, really nice. And it was lovely to see some familiar faces from back home. We went to church. We went to a lovely church out there. Friends of Billy Joe's, George and what was his name now? Oh, bloody hell. He'll be mad. Huey. George and Huey. Lovely guys, American guys. They really looked after us out there, and Ben, they were Ben friends as well, Ben's friends, Ben's and Billy's, Bill and Ben's friends, and they took us to church a couple of times, and it was a lovely upbeat church, like along the Hillsong sort of thing, and I'm a Christian, and so it was really, really lovely, and yeah, it was that was all good, so yeah.
You said Billy Joe didn't inform you that Ben would be in there on fight night in the corner, but did somebody else, obviously Tom Saunders or Tom Watts, the camp manager, somebody inform you of that?
No, do you know what? It was very, very loosely. I mean, Billy never said nothing. I think Amir mentioned it to me on the way back from Walmart a couple of days before the fight, and it wasn't an issue. It wasn't an issue for me. I did think it could be strange that Ben was involved in such a big unification fight in Josh Taylor, and he was in Vegas, and he was going to leave Josh to fly in for the weekend. But then he's an old friend of his. He's not far away, and it would only make sense if he was there to watch the fight. I didn't know he was going to be in the corner until one of the producers in the event for DAZN had a clipboard and wanted me to sign something of my name. I did see his name there, so I didn't make an issue. I didn't go up to Billy's room and said, what's going on? Ben's in the corner. Because, if it's going to help Billy Joe perform, I'm all for it at that stage. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, that's how I was. That's how I was with that situation.
But you had no, you were quite happy for that to take place. You were quite happy for Ben to be in the corner after you found out.
Yeah, I mean, like I says, obviously Billy wanted it because he was there at breakfast, and at the breakfast table when I turned up, that was the day of the fight. Billy Joe wasn't at the table, and Ben was there, and it was nice to see him. All right, Ben, are you working tonight? I says. He says yes. So I sat opposite him, and most of the team was there, apart from Billy Joe and Tom Watts. So I says, right, okay, no problem. Ben, that's Billy Joe. That's me. Sheldon, that's you. Ben, that's you. Are you happy with that? They went, whatever you want, Mark. I went, that don't get changed unless Billy Joe changes it. And that's how it went.
Just picking it straight up there, we've been talking for so long that we, when it gets to half an hour, we have to reset it. So that's me and you jabbering on. Right, one of the things I want to talk to you about is obviously the removal of interviews after the fight. Now, we had an interview taken down. You called me on Monday, asked me very politely to take the post-fight interview that you did with Andy Purwell from Boxing Social down. Why was that?
Well, to be honest with you, we've done a recce of the dressing room, and Billy Joe was took into hospital in the ambulance, and then when me and Amir come out of the dressing room, it just took reporters took me by surprise, and obviously I was gutted, and I give my view of the events, but it was a bit inappropriate of me having Billy Joe, was in hospital being attended to. So yeah, so I asked you guys to take the videos down.
So just to kind of clarify that and confirm that, obviously you asked me to take it down, and in your opinion, it was probably not the wisest thing to do until we found out some medical information about Billy Joe Saunders, obviously on his way to hospital with suspected broken eye socket, but I think everybody could see that. So you accept that it was potentially a little bit inappropriate to give those interviews at the time?
Of course it was. It was a listen. It was a tough night. It was a tough night all round. And come out the dressing room, you guys caught me by surprise, and I just, I spilt my heart out to you guys, and it was inappropriate knowing that Billy Joe was in hospital. So yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for clearing that up. Final one on the events really, and obviously what's happened since then. We've seen Ben Davison and yourself Ben Davison do interviews and kind of give his version of events. We're doing this interview now. Is this it now? Kind of draw a line under it? I mean, I know you both individually, you both seem good guys. It's not about the trainers, so to speak, or kind of the he said, she said. Are you happy with this now to kind of draw a line under events? There's no ill feeling on your behalf?
Listen, this is how I've always been. I'm never ever going to be like a he said, she said. I never done it with Dillian White, and I'm not going to do it with Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah. Listen, my guy got injured in the fight. He got his skull cracked, and I waved the fight off. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I'm not I just want to do my job, do it to the best of my ability, and crack on, and look after everybody, and that's my job. And it's been a tough 4 months, 3 months, or whatever it was. But that's I'll do my job, and I like to think I do it to the best of my ability and make sure everyone gets what they need. Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate you clearing those things up. I understand that the last week and a half can't have been particularly easy, particularly on the back of, a very disappointing night. I'm sure everybody, yourself, Billy Joe Saunders, Ben Davison, the rest of the team would have been, in high hopes for Billy Joe getting that big win over Canelo Alvarez. So I appreciate your time in clearing those things up. Before I let you go, one thing that I would like to discuss with you is Daniel Dubois. We were expecting Daniel Dubois to join yourself and train under yourself. We've seen reports suggesting that he's now not going to do that. What can you tell me about Daniel Dubois?
Well, Daniel, I was sending over schedules. His father got in contact with me. I never ever, I haven't spoke to Daniel in like probably 2 years, might even be more than that. And while I was sending over schedules, I asked his father if I could talk to him on the phone, but he put me on loudspeaker, and you know, I don't consider that as talking to him or having a conversation. But I was happy. My dad was overseeing his coaching and training, and along with Stephen Andrews. But then I got back from Dallas on the Monday I believe, Monday morning, yeah, and I still had a little bit of jet lag, but I made contact with Daniel's father and said, look, we're going to meet up in the gym on a Thursday. We're going to train Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and I will be booking in some sparring for you. You know, I think was on the week after that. Just wanted to evaluate him myself. I was getting feedback from my father, who I trust, obviously, because of the experience he's been around. And I had one session with Daniel, and I knew he had a fight on the 6th or the 5th of June. And to be fair, I've been down this road before with fighters and their fathers, and I didn't want to go down this road again. I got a text from Stan Dubois, Daniel's father, in the evening, telling me what's going on the next day, and you know, we've got a slot with BT Sport, and it was a difficult decision because I feel that Daniel has got potential, but I didn't want to go ahead with the contract. And I rung Frank Warren up, told him. He was a little bit shocked, but he understood. I rung Tony Bowers up, his manager. He again was shocked, but he understood as well. And then obviously I informed Mr. Stan Dubois, and I said, look, I wish you luck. It's on that phone if you want me to show you it. I wish you luck with Daniel's career, but this ain't for me. And I left it there.
There are, of course, reports suggesting that he's going to team up with Shane McGuigan as his new trainer. What do you think of that potential link-up?
Yeah, good trainer, Shane. Good trainer, Shane. Good trainer, Shane. I wish him both all the best, for sure. I just want to show you something. One second, we're nearly there. I'll show this for your eyes only. You got it? Yep. Yeah, no, Daniel was he was a lovely young man, beautiful smile. He come in, I was excited. We had a session, good session, and I just wasn't feeling right about something. And but he's got potential. I wish him well. He's a lovely human being, and I wish him well.
Okay, well, before I let you go, we mentioned at the very start of this interview that you've been either in America or you've been in preparation with Billy Joe Saunders for the Martin Murray fight. So it's been 6 months now, thereabouts, since you've had some home time. Yeah. You are, of course, trainer of some really exciting prospects at your gym, John Hedges, Johnny Fisher, etc., just to name a couple. What's the plan for you now? I'm assuming that you're going to want to get some family time in with your lovely family here. But, of course, time waits for no man. You got to get back to work soon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, I'm back in the gym now. I've got a very good gym, a very organised gym, and I want to build champions as usual and breed champions. And I've got a good young stock at the minute. But I want, I'm hungry. I'm hungry to make the best of fighting talent, and I want to crack on and build more champions, and that's what I intend to do at the Origin Gym in Rainham in Essex. Tibbs Boxing, West 1 Limited.
Good plug. Always a good way to end the interview with a nice plug. Mark, always a pleasure catching up with you. Nice to see you looking so well. Thank you very much for your openness and your honesty and inviting me down to your lovely home today. Look forward to catching up with you sometime soon. But as always, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Good man. Thank you, sir. All the best. God bless.
Right.